And we are live. What's up, fight fans? This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News once again, midday, early morning, evening, night, whatever you want to call it. We are here. Deuce Jones, let's go. KD Ortiz, I want all the hate from Wilder fans. I just can't find them today. Mule Carton. John Waitman, Porky Spencer is coming. Okay, Porky Spencer. John Waitman, Bomb Squad, Roasted Icons, Bomb Squad, John Waitman. Okay. Let's see who else we have here. Neil Sinclair. Okay. St. Don, just seen Spencer on Sky News. Got it spot on. KD Ortiz, blessings to you back. SM Vaughn, hungover. I can only imagine, okay? Wilder KO'd his ass in 4. What was the 15-second count all about? JP's. Well, let me counterpunch you real quick. It's not about seconds, okay? It's not a 10-second count. It's a 10 count. Okay, that's just like telling someone to walk at a certain speed. You can't. They get there when they get there, right? Just like a person's count, you know? Now, was it the fastest count? No, it was not. But I think that's the way he counted. Some people count slower, some people count faster. It's a give and take thing, okay? And if you want to look at it in the forms of karma, so be it. Why do you ask me that? Well, because Ortiz got clubbed in the right with the right hand in the 7th, which he was winning each and every round against Wilder. And people said that count was fast. I did not. But for those people that thought the count was fast, okay, here's a slow count for you. How about that? Does that make sense? There you go. There you go. Some people count fast. Some people count slow. Okay, that's it. Ortiz was paid off. He was paid off to get hit like that. I doubt that shit. I doubt that. Wilder caught him. Wilder has a sneaky one. Counterpunch, Mr. Kurt, one of the best channels and commentators out there in the air. Enjoying it. Keep it up. Daniel Pines, 26. Appreciate you. Appreciate you. We're bringing Spencer Fearon in. I know he was just on Sky Sports. I know he has his own show. He's dropping by, and he's going to tell us why. We're going to discuss Tyson Fury defending his title against Deontay Wilder. So there you go. He'll be here in about 10 minutes or so stay tuned for that. But yeah, we have a lot to counterpunch. Why can't people just appreciate a good fight? Now, I don't know. G-Man Limited. I don't know, because people's happiness, I don't know, is limited. Nikki Blue Eyes, baby, I hope you had some sleep. Good evening to you. Fury was on steroids. Here we go. If he's on steroids, it will show up in his toxicology report or his autopsy. Yes, the ref was great. Nobody's mentioning him. That was a good enough sign. No, I mean, obviously, to some people, he counted slow. But again, was it the fastest? No, it ain't the fastest. You know what I mean? Here's a proper thing you need to do. Do your own investigation, right? If you think, JR, counterpunch to you, if you think the referee was counting slow, go back and look at him in other fights, previous fights. So if he counted like a lot quicker than that, okay, you might have a point on that, right? But if he always counts like that, you can't say that's something he did deliberate for this particular fight, okay? Jamie H., evening. Big shout out from Scotland. Scotland in the house. What you think of Josh Taylor down that way? Yourself, Artis. Thank you, brother. We enjoyed your coming yesterday. Love from Great Britain. You self, counterpunch to you. Sad and pathetic excuses, accusations. The KO illegal too? I guess so. I guess, I mean, I was waiting for him to come, but like at least these particular excuses here, like they're petty, you know? But it's like one of those things. It's like little boy cried wolf, right? I've had a little rest, been having the best blessed day. That's good. My day haven't been bad. I had a pounding headache last night. I was like, Jesus, it was pounding. Kind of reminded me when I had COVID. So, Kurt, are you away to sleep? No, I'm not away to sleep. Ref done a great job. He gives fighters benefits. Benefit of the doubt, he broke those clinches beautifully clean. Restless stopped Fury from choking Wilder as much as he could. You know, um, I didn't see a problem with the ref. Honestly, I did not. I mean, a lot of people, I guess they did, but I didn't. So I didn't see a problem with it whatsoever. I seen Sugar put something in Wilder's water. I'm serious. Oh God, really? How the hell did Sugar Hill put something in Wilder's water? How is that shit allowed to happen? Should have watched closer the second fight. It was the most exciting fight I've seen, maybe ever. That's a good thing. That is a very good thing. The fighter reacts to count anyway. Fury wasn't buzzed, just knocked down and looked pissed off more than hurt. Alan Skill. No, I'm gonna tell you what he did was. This is what Tyson Fury did. All right. Now check this out. Tyson Fury got hit with a good shot, and I'm gonna tell you what he did. He went down. He got hit, and he thought Wilder didn't notice that he hit him, so he kind of stayed. But then he seen Wilder engaging. He was like, "Oh shit," because he was hurt. But then he wasn't hurt enough to go down yet until he saw that signaled and alerted Wilder. It's all about what you are allowed to do because once you get hurt, you get vulnerable. And once Tyson Fury did get hit, he went back. And then when he seen Wilder, he went to grab, but Wilder started swinging and he fell to the ground, right? But he knew he took his time and he got up. And I'm going to tell you the last one, the second knockdown in round 4, he got up, right? And then Wilder was still in attack mode. So he took a little tap probably behind the ear or wherever, and he went down too. He went down again. And then when he went down again, he took some time. But both of those knockdowns was avoid getting seriously hurt because Fury knew if he hits me and hurts me, I'm really in shit creek. And he didn't want that to happen. So he fell down to keep from getting hurt. Because if he would have got nailed with another right in the 4th round, when Wilder was somewhat still fresh, I still think he was too heavy. He would have been out of there. He would have been out of there. You know what I mean? And Fury knew, like, look, I can take one of those damn shots, but if I take 2 or 3 of these right hands, I probably won't be able to recover like I've done before. See, you remember in the first fight, he only took one of those hard punches once at a time. He didn't take 2 or 3. And Wilder's biggest problem is this is what I'm disappointed in with Wilder. I thought Wilder was going to be able to put more punches together. Instead of just throwing one rocket launching nuke bomb punch at a time, we always knew he could do that. No, I thought he was going to put them together. Bow, bow, land a right, then land an uppercut, then a left hook or something like that. He's a one-arm fighter. So the left hook is not doing what people think it's going to do. Fury wasn't worried about the left hook at all. He didn't care about the left hook. He was cared about that right hand. If you notice, he was slipping that right hand. Whenever he seen it, he either ducked down to avoid it altogether, right? Or he grazed it. He rubbernecked it. That's what he did. The LDBC is crying on their channels. Shit, they're hurt. They're hurt, man. Look, they're a fan of Wilder. They are an absolute fan of Wilder. But I think some of those channels, not all, I think some of them are a fan of Wilder for all the wrong reasons. But yes, last night, they gave him a legitimate reason to follow him because he showed heart, he showed grit, and it's nothing to be ashamed of. His sportsmanship should improve, but I think, that's an inner thing. Like I said before, it's an inner thing. If you can't congratulate the winner, one thing I don't want to see from Wilder, don't go away, get quiet, and then you hear all type of channels saying what we did last year, because then nothing will really change. And at this point, people will see you for really a fraud, and you don't want that. You want to be known as a warrior, as a king, okay, as a leader. You don't want to be that warrior king / leader that's an asshole because you're leading other assholes. That makes sense to people? Bro, Kurt, this man was trained by a man that was beaten by both fighters. How dumb. No, man, look. It's hard to train Wilder something that he ain't knew. Look, they should have had another fight before then. See, if Wilder could have still allowed Tyson Fury to fight, I get Caballel, and he could have fought someone else just to get a good feel of the trainer at hand. You never want to go into a fight with a totally different trainer raw like that. That's a raw transition. And that's the problem, I feel. I think Malik Scott didn't have enough time with him hands-on in the trenches. You know what I mean? It's one thing practicing, but it's another thing when you're trying to give someone direction while they're being attacked, while their adrenaline is way up in the air. You know what I mean? So a lot of times they've taken head punches. He was down a couple times, or even the first after the third, he was down. So, it's hard to really get instruction in because you're so angst. You're so anxious. You're so ready to do certain things. And Wilder, he went back. He went back to who he was. Let me throw the right, land that sucker. I'm going for the knockout. And I'm willing to break every bone in my hand to do so. Yeah, Malik Scott spoke. He spoke earlier. He spoke to Ellie Setback. And, man, let me tell you about Ellie, man. He really disappointed me, too. I know he's kind of like a hustling guy and all that, but he's more like a fanboy. And I learned that today, like when Wilder told Tyson Fury what he told him after the fight was over, that's not showing good sportsmanship. Well, LA Setback signed off on it. He signed off on it. He was like, well, I would have done the same thing. I would have told him I don't respect you either, and like, why would you co-sign for something like that? It just shows you something about your character. You really don't have any. You know what I mean? Because look, that's something you could have, well, I'd have done the same thing. And like I said, like before, you don't want to be a guy, a leader, a king, a warrior, but an asshole that leads other assholes because people think it's okay to be that way. That's the problem. So that's the problem. So if you are a guy and you're letting other people that follow you and you making them and you can say things, you're telling them, all the people that follow Wilder, right? If they're weak enough, if they don't have enough character themselves, if they're puppets or they're, followers, they're going to think that it's cool to be that way. That's what it is. Nicholas, counterpunch to you, brother. First love super chat on the chat. John Fury is always right. No, he wasn't. He wasn't, though, honestly. He was right about his son, both fights, but he was not right about Usyk Joshua because he said Usyk is too small and Joshua's going to run right over him. And that did not happen. Assholes increase crime rates in various communities. Squeezy 1337. You're absolutely right. Well, yeah, Nico, I know the story behind it. I know the story behind it, definitely. I remember, and it's more than that though. That's where it kind of partially started, because Ellie Setback's Jewish, I get it, but Ellie Setback doesn't like Fury because Fury kicked him out of a press conference, I think back in 18. So he kicked him out. You get comfortable here. Fury is the best of all. Canelo second. Well, no, I mean, it's kind of hard to put a heavyweight at pound for pound, I guess, right? I mean, Usyk's there because he wasn't a heavyweight. He went from one weight class to the other. So pound for pound, but that I don't know. That's just my counterpunch on it. To think Wilder, though, benching 350 was significant after Fury bragged that he was going to 300. Should have maybe put that weight in his legs with some squats. To be real with you, man, I didn't see him do anything as far as squats. Like, you seen him do a lot of upper body shit. He did not need that. He did not need to be bulkier. He doesn't need. He did. You know what? If Wilder should be the weight he is now when he decides to go into the film industry, because he has a following, and all those boxers, Ronda Rousey, Victor Ortiz, you know what I mean? If them motherfuckers could get into film, Wilder could definitely get into film because he's tall, he has a dominating stature, and you know what I mean? And he could be into film good, all he needs to learn how to do is shoot guns, which he already fucking does. And he could be a badass. And he's young too. He's only 36 or 35. So he'll be 36 this month. So yeah, he's a young guy. So he could ascend in that part of his career and leave boxing to the wayside. John Cena, The Rock, right? He can do it. Peace and pugilism. Amen on your last statement on leading by example for the wrong reasons. Bro, Boxing Logics United. You guys, please subscribe to Blue Boxing Logics United. Look, you have to lead by example, okay? You have to, because at the end of the day, people are going to take what you say for cash value and they're going to believe, because there's a lot of weak people out there. Not everyone is a person that believes in leading. A lot of people want to be led. It's a flock. He has a flock of people. And if he says jump, they'll say hi, even though jump off this bridge. Some people won't say why. They'll say, all right, when. No. Kurt, I'll say it again. Brit fanboys cannot say Wilder's a bum and also say Fury cemented greatness from this trilogy. Which one is it? Did Fury beat a great fighter or a bum? Counterpunch. Fury beat a dangerous fighter to me. That's what he did. We all know Wilder fought fighters for the wrong reasons, or should I say, his management didn't allow him to fight the right type. See, when Wilder was coming along, Wilder started, I think, in 2008, December of 2008. Tyson Fury, I think, started in 2007. Okay. So they're not long apart. They're not, matter of fact, Wilder's older than Tyson Fury, but Tyson Fury's been fighting longer. He has more experience. However, I think Shelly Finkel. I think he valued the more popular fighter. The more popular fighter at the time was Vladimir Klitschko. He managed both Klitschko and little known Wilder. When Wilder got the belt, he didn't want to promote or market Wilder aggressively. He didn't. And because he didn't, Wilder got a slow start. Okay. He rode the short bus in retrospect because everybody else, like Tyson, got his opportunity in 15 and he beat Klitschko, upset Klitschko in Germany. You know, uh, that was in 15, right? Um, Almost 2 years later, he fought Joshua. But who do you think conducted those two fights? Shelly Finkel. Shelly Finkel was the manager of Vlad. Okay, he managed the Vlad Fury fight and he managed the Vlad Joshua fight. Okay, so yeah, Shelly Finkel did he I mean he had his own reasons. I don't think he did it selfishly. I think he did it because he was trying to protect Wilder. But I don't think Wilder needed the protection. Now, was it a good idea? That's the question. Maybe yes and no. Yes, because Wilder probably would have got found out about. He probably wouldn't have beat Klitschko. Klitschko would have more than likely knocked him out, but who knows? Wilder always had the power, but the experience he had with fighting people like Klitschko was the chances are none. Vlad would have probably had his way with him, beat him up. He should have got it before Joshua got the opportunity. So your question you ask yourself is, even in 2017, why wouldn't Shelly Finkel trying to conduct a fight with Wilder Vladimir, which he managed both fighters, than to go over to Britain and manage or negotiate a fight with Joshua? And of course, he had to deal with Eddie Hearn anyway, right? Because Eddie Hearn was with Joshua's with Eddie Hearn. Okay, so Wilder cheated. Look at all those rabbit punches. Now, to be fair, they both hit each other behind the head. Okay, so you have to look at that. So like, look at both sides. They both fouled each other. Only thing, well, that Wilder couldn't land the punches that he wanted to land because Fury had already had him in the clinch. So that's a reflex. Is you got a guy here, and this is where you want to punch him, but he's clinging to you, so you whack him. Okay, Fury whacked them both too. They did the same shit in the second fight. It's just the first fight. It wasn't that bad because Fury was keeping his distance away and he was using the jab. So it wasn't a lot of clinches. It was Tyson Fury taunting him kind of like a bull in a matador type. Okay, so that's what happened in that situation. Wilder was rabbit punching. The ref called him on it. Yeah, I mean, he was rabbit punching, but they both were. That's what I'm saying. Fury go to Germany, beat Klitschko. Yeah. And then go to America and beat twice Wilder. I think Fury deserves a lot of credit. Well, I think that Fury has a lot of credit. He's done what he's supposed to do. The knowledge has entered the building. So let's bring him in. Spence, what's up, brother?
How you doing, my friend? You good?
Man, I'm great. I'm better than good. I'm blessed. How about yourself?
I'm good. I'm good. You mean we know that we lost one of our dear friends who introduced us. Yeah. So it was a massive big out and shout out to all the Pro Bees' family. Pep Talk UK. So yeah. How you doing, man?
Man, I'm doing good. I thought of that today. God bless Pro Bees because he helped me a lot. He helped with connections. He was a good guy all around. He wanted to bring people together. He didn't want to hoard anything. He wanted to share with everyone. He had no enemies with anyone. He had no beef with anyone. He was one of the guys that did his thing. And I thought to myself, like, man, if only he was here and we would have been talking about it today. You know what I
Trust,
mean?
trust
That fight and the Usyk Joshua fight. So it kind of was like it was a bittersweet situation. And I'm
me.
like, well, he did what he loved to do in the trenches, getting the interviews, and he did that up until he left.
100.
So
And I mean, God bless the you. He's a good guy.
yeah.
A good guy. A very good guy. But let's chop it up, man. I got 15 minutes to chop it up, and then
All
I got
right.
my show with Babatunde Ajayi. The Fight is Right, where we're doing the fight. So yep.
Okay, man. First takes. Give it to me straight. What's your counterpunch with the knowledge?
Counterpunch is this: Deontay Wilder um, fought an incredible fight yesterday, and no matter what he fought, all the conspiracy theories and this and that and all the rest of it, I mean, he cleared that all up by just how gallant he was in the fight. He fought with he fought with valor. And the major thing is like when somebody says, listen, I'm gonna go out on my shield, that's exactly what he did. And I did see after props Malik Scott, because I did see the things that he tried to implement in the fight. It worked for 2 rounds. It did. I thought he boxed beautiful for the first, how he was stabbing the body. And then all of a sudden, he found his range. Then Fury knocks him over round 3. He gets over and knocks down Fury twice in round 4. You know what I mean? There was 5 knockdowns in that fight. When you're going to get a heavyweight fight, we're getting 5 knockdowns, and it's for a heavyweight championship of the whole wide world. It was an absolutely fantastic fight, and we have to be grateful for what we witnessed yesterday. It was such a spectacle. And I know Deontay Wilder kind of tainted the performance and the occasion by the things that he said afterwards to Tyson Fury, but I'm gonna give Deontay Wilder a pass on that one today, And the reason why, Deontay Wilder had to believe the hype for him to have done the things that he's done in boxing. The man was on like 10 world title defenses. The man before he met Fury, the man was after only like 3 years as an amateur boxer going to the Olympics and medaling. That's ridiculous, right? So he accomplished certain things, and I'm saying it wasn't down to this natural boxing ability, and that's not disrespecting. It was more down to his belief in like go and do this stuff. And so he's accomplished a hell of a lot. I wish he didn't behave in the way that he did after the fight with Tyson Fury. It just takes like, hey, but I think emotions, and I think it's really hurt him that he actually got the loss. But on certain things, you got to own certain things, and it's maturity as well. And
Right.
it may take a while, but it's maturity as well.
Well, speaking of maturity, do you think because he started late, because he was pretty much under the radar most of his career until maybe Luis Ortiz, do you think a loss early he would have learned more because of the loss versus later on in his career
Oh,
like now?
oh, listen to me, yeah. If you think about it, the guy came from like adverse poverty, right? Alabama. For him to have accomplished, he's a millionaire now. He's living a good life. You know what I mean? He's got children, a nice partner on his side, and stuff. No, I don't think if he'd have got lost early, it would have helped. I think he needed all of that to add to that mystique and for him to build himself up and be as confident as what he was. Um, he's got, like I said, I watched your video earlier. He's got a lot of people who are behind him, who follow him, who you know what I mean. He's a person of adulation, but I still believe that I understand why he behaved the way that he behaved, because he believed in the conspiracy theory, no matter how ludicrous certain things did sound. He believed that people in his camp were trying to do it wrong. He believed all of these kind of things. He needed to believe that. And the reason why he needed to believe that, for him to be able to come back and say, I'm going back in with Tyson Fury. But now he's got nowhere to hide. Now he's got accepted, because there was no glove tampering. There was no nothing. I'm hearing some nonsense now. Oh, well, Tyson Fury's on steroids now. Like, we got to stop. We got to stop drawing to us against the world nonsense. Because as soon as you have that mindset of us against the world, you know what? It actually is going to be us against the world. Because every opportunity where we're going, we're looking for the divisiveness of you know, this oxymoron. We're looking for these things when we could be looking at things more to the esoteric way of life, even though nothing is esoteric. What was it? It was William Shakespeare that said nothing is neither good or bad, but thinking makes it so. So a lot of things are your thoughts. And Deontay Wilder was that big advocate of, you know what I mean, speaking things into existence. So you can speak things into existence, but because you don't speak, it doesn't mean that it's not happening. You got beat fairly yesterday in a classic. We're going to talk about this fight for a very long time.
Right.
So here we've just seen a classic. 5 knockdowns. You know what I mean? You get knocked down, you get up. You know what I mean? You knock the guy down twice. Guy gets back up, then he knocks you down again twice. Come on, that's absolute classic. Hold the fact that, and also I want Deontay Wilder and all these other people to realize this, right? When you're in a classic, there is no winner or loser. You are part of the classic. That's right. What you think people sit down and say, oh, you know, what was it? April 15th, 1985. Tommy Hearns, you lost the fight against Hagler. No, we don't. We say Hagler Hearns. Why?
Hagler Hearns. Yeah, they're molded together. Yeah, that fight. They're just two fighters that had one spectacular fight. I get that. Absolutely.
Right. When we're thriller, we don't look and say, well, Joe Frazier lost. You mean October 5? No, we don't think that way. We think classic. When we're looking at this fight now, we're going to think, okay, then a trilogy, but Deontay Wilder went out on that shield. Not only, do you know what I mean? The shield that he went out on, not even Captain America, vibranium shield couldn't even carry that. He went out on a shield last night. Props Deontay Wilder. I'm just being 100. Now, what I am saying is this. We're living in a very divisive world where, and especially like in America, I know it's very black and white. It's very black and white. Unfortunately, that's the way it is. In your country, it's very black and white. On certain spectrum, so you have certain channels that have a platform where they say, well, we're only going to be promoting black fighters because they're not getting a look in. I'm saying that's got to be nonsense as well. Let's just promote boxing. Period. Right?
Right.
Obviously, we're going to have favorites to people who kind of look like us and have our cultural identity, but our cultural identity shouldn't be down to our skin tone, but our cultural identity should be down to our culture. And our culture should be based on boxing if we're dealing with boxing. I appreciate any fighter. No, I don't give a damn if he's Hispanic, if he's Afro-American, if he's European-American, if he's Anglo-Asian American. I don't care. If he's British, we go through the whole spectrum of being British as well. If we're Afro-Caribbean, no. I like if you encompass the style of boxing that I love, and I love the sweet science. It's called a sweet science for a reason, not a soured fiction. So I love this sweet science. And if anybody's demonstrating that sweet science, like I love watching Canelo, but don't get twisted. I love watching Brad Crawford. You get what I'm trying to say to you? I don't care who's demonstrating it, right? That's demonstrating. I like it, and I'm going to appreciate it. I don't care who's it coming from, right? This essence of boxing, of this sport, should be used to unite instead of divide.
I agree 100%.
And when I saw Tyson Fury, and I know Tyson Fury's story, I know his backdrop. I know Tyson Fury, I know him for years, but I know his father really well. When I'm looking at that, I know your backdrop and where you've come from and everything else. The man lost Terence Crawford in weight to make a comeback. Are you listening to this one here? All right, then. So if a man's gone through all of that, then obviously we got to turn around and say to ourselves, I have to appreciate this man. Also, him being a traveler, and what you don't know about travelers are they're to themselves in the UK. I'll tell you that now, right? So when you understand that, and also travelers culturally of certain age groups, their music is very, very like R&B or Jamaican reggae based, dancehall based. That's what they tend to be into, right? So so then you got to say that it's a cultural identity, not a racial identity. I keep on saying there's only one race, the human race. Let's start rolling as one human race. Let's stop being divisive, right? And I'm just keeping this thing 100 because now I'm getting sick and tired of it because it's embarrassing to me when I'm seeing people who actually look like me. Just because you look like me don't mean that you are me. People who actually look like me are using this excuse now. Well, Tyson Fury must have done this, this, and this. Just accept it. Accept it because what we witnessed yesterday was a part of greatness and a part of boxing history, and we should be grateful that we witnessed this because in years to come, they're going to be using that as a level, as a spirit level to say, well, was the fight as good as that fight though? Was it as good as like while the Fury 3 was as good as that fight? Come on. So let's appreciate what we witnessed yesterday. And I hope that you have certain people in certain communities, in chat rooms who happen to be black. Let's just appreciate what we witnessed and let's not be divisive and let's use this sport to unite.
Absolutely. And you know what I appreciated? I like the fact that they. What's that?
That's my rant and that's my counter punch.
You know, I want to add to that. I'm actually glad that everything was out in the open. There was no rock unturned. You know, the gloves were sliced in two. They showed the padding, showed how the stitching is, how you can't do certain things. So before anybody tried to run off with a narrative to write this and make this video saying this to get some type of views, because it's all about money, really. You know, I think it was a lot about money. People knew it was lucrative, so they made money off of it. Well, that was no way that shut that barrier down for that type of foolishness because that is something that you could not uh, exploit anymore. See, all the lies, all the excuses, all the accusations, they're gone. He used the same glove, same type glove, same color glove. And it was crazy because I think Tyson Fury did that on purpose because he wanted him to see those green gloves coming at him again, just like he saw the last time. You know, mind games. Tyson is with mind games. He's always been with mind games. It might have been even this. I'll go a step farther. Maybe Tyson Fury didn't say anything in the last press conference because he wanted to hold it all to this one time and to make you think, well, I'm not going to mention anything. And he let him go and he dropped a bombshell on this, that. You called me a liar. You getting it? He did a Muhammad Ali style tell off before he showed up and showed out. So it was, look, it was spectacular. And I'm glad that the fight happened the way it happened. I'm glad that the ref didn't stop it to the way he ended that fight on the ground. He went out on his shield. One of the last questions I have for you, what do you think about the count? Because that's another thing. They said the count was slow. Give me a counter punch.
The count was slow by who? For who?
By the referee for Tyson Fury. Said the count was slow.
Shut up. I don't want to hear it, man. You right? Just spare me this nonsense, right? Whoever's talking this nonsense, just spare me this nonsense now, right? Take it as this. Deontay Wilder lost to the better man. That's what he did, right? But you know what? Deontay Wilder's still up there as one of the best heavyweights in the world and one of the most exciting heavyweights in the world. And you know what? I'd respect you more if you say, listen, I'm coming right back to go get what's mine.
Yeah, well, it's going to be a while. He's going to take a layoff, and then I want him to come back and fight whoever. You know, there's a lot of fights out there for him.
Yeah, and that's to Kurt. I love being on Counterpunch. I've got to run now, but I knew that I was going to jump in with you. I always like chopping it up, and we could do something this week as well. It's always been a blessing, man. You know what I mean? And like I said, rest in peace, Pro B's, because he linked up in you as my brother. So peace.
Absolutely, man. Thank you, bro.
Take care. God bless.
I'll check you out on the Fight is Right later on today.
Oh, yes, sir.
Okay, man. That was the knowledge, speaking the knowledge, right? So, he gave his counterpunch about Deontay the Bronze Bomber Wilder. I want to add to that, okay, with you guys. It also shows, yeah, the heart, the grit of Wilder. Yes, he took a punch. Yes, he went out on his shield. But who put him out on his shield? Tyson Fury, okay? Tyson Fury was the reason why Wilder was able to go as far as he did, because Tyson Fury was the man that put him there. Yeah, he got up, he showed he was tough, but who was catching him with those quick, fast, rapid fire right hands over the left shoulder of Deontay Wilder? And he was targeting that ear, and I think now in hindsight, I think Tyson Fury was aiming for that punch the whole time. And I think he talked about that punch, about busting his eardrum open and Malik Scott's eardrum, because he was going to do it. Wilder doesn't like Fury because he is white and he talks trash. I don't think that's what it is at all, Micro Bully, because if that would have been the case, why does he have JDs? Because if it's a white thing, I don't think it's a white thing at all. I think that's something, I think Deontay Wilder's a fraud in that sense. I think he flocks with people that have a problem with race, such as some channels of the LDBC, just because he knows that he can say certain things and he knows that they're pretty much racist people. So what he can do, he can exploit that reality of how they already think. Because if Wilder was just pro-black militant dude, JD's would not be around. He wouldn't have anywhere around. He could have fired Mark Breland, but he would have fired JD's first. And then if that's the case, why is JD's in there anyhow? And that's the case, why is Shelly Finkel there? None of those guys are African American or black. King KO, exactly. Exactly. So I don't believe that. I think he wanted that audience, so he has it. So he appealed to his audience by saying certain things about what they agree with anyway. No, it actually should be Wilder versus White right now. It should be Fury versus White. That should be a good fight. And the strange thing about styles, what if there are just as many knockdowns in White versus Fury than any other fight? And what does that tell you? That tells you there's tough competition when these top fighters fight each other. That's what it means. Wilder dropped Fury twice. Fury dropped him 3 times. What does that mean? That means if these motherfuckers fought 2 or 3 more times, you would have a pretty much a different outcome. You know what I mean? You got to draw the first round, a beat down in the second time, and a kind of a back and forth and a classic on the third time. So what do you think a fourth fight would be? It's like, look, when you start fighting on the elite level, this is the type of fights you should accept and should receive. What we saw yesterday, last night, this morning for some, was a fight that needed to happen. I'm glad it happened now. And it was better than Usyk Joshua. But of course, we wanted to see Joshua Fury. But guess what? It wasn't the right time. Why? It wasn't meant to be. It just wasn't meant. This was meant to be. Usyk fighting Joshua was meant to be. People have different wars to fight for different reasons. And Wilder's reason for fighting Fury is because he signed a contract. It's a business reason. Joshua had to fight Usyk because of a sanctioning body mandatory reason. White ain't beating Fury. Well, what we need to remember, styles make fights. Okay? Because you don't know what these two guys will generate when they get in the ring. Because what I've noticed about Wilder, he doesn't have very much He's pretty one-dimensional, especially when he gets hurt, but that is probably when he's the most dangerous. What I expected to see from Malik Scott, I expected to see combinations. I expected to, see 1, 2, 3 punch combinations. I saw shades of that, like in the 10th round when he caught Fury with a right hand, then he caught him with a left, then he threw another a right hand and caught him, then he threw a left hook, and then the bell rang. Okay, well, that's what we should have saw the whole fucking time. You know what I mean? So it is one thing, Jim Brown. I know, right? You know what, Jim? You know what? I still got a voice because I had such a banging headache yesterday. That's why. My head was like, it was crazy. It was like, it felt like I had COVID again. That's what it felt like. I disagree with Kurt, just like Trump. If somebody is willing to use race to garner support, he is dabbling in racism counterpoint. Hey, well, I mean, he's agreeing with it, so he's just as bad. You know what I mean? But I think it's more political on what he's using it for versus how he actually feels. So, I mean, you could look at it like, are you really that? Or are you just hanging around that for just supporters because you want their support for whatever reason? In reality, you shouldn't fucking want their support if you don't believe in their views. That's a fact. If you don't really believe, if that's not really you, why are you trying to sell your soul just for support or whatever of whatever kind? Because I guarantee you, a lot of those guys that claim that they support certain fighters or certain, they don't. They got that shit bootleg. They got that shit fire stick. They're using some kind of illegal stream. A lot of people don't pay for it. I paid the $79.99. But you think their average Joe Blow that says, "Oh, I'm a Wilder," he ain't gonna buy that fight. I rate Wilder more time and defeat. Mark Breland cared about Wilder. Look, and anyone in the arena last night. Let me tell you something. Wilder has a lot of growing up to do. And understand Wilder, like Spence said, he wasn't, he came from, he didn't come from the best environment. The strange thing is his father's a preacher, so he should have taught him values. There's a lot of good values in the Bible. And I think people grab and take what they want. You see him quoting the Bible all the time, but you take everything in it. Don't just take the shit that sounds good, but then you tell him, "I don't respect you and I want to kill you," and all that. Like a lot of people might value that, but what I learned about Mike Tyson changed me and changed my life. Because I was a guy, and we all look up to people as role models, and we have role models we look up to. And it was a blessing in disguise that Mike Tyson was defeated by Lennox Lewis, because it made Mike Tyson realize that, hey, this guy ain't my enemy. This is just a guy that I once knew, that I sparred with, that I was good friends with once upon a time. The persona or this bravado or whatever that I have going for me, that's all something to sell the fight, this, that, and the other. But, once the fight happens, you need to understand where to put what. What happens with certain people, like Wilder, I think maybe he is in delusion. I don't know. I think he believes that, but he has to realize fighting Tyson Fury again and think, okay? I feel that he needs to realize that, listen, this dude beat me fair and square. Let me stop with the bullshit. Let me just wake up, get my head out the clouds, because I'm not up there no more. I'm down at rock bottom. I'm down on the ground. So I think when he learns that, I think he will be more likable. If he doesn't care about being liked, oh, well, so be it. But he knows, I think Wilder knows, that as long as he has the type of attitude he has and the shit he said about somebody else with no evidence that we haven't seen, he knows that certain people are going to follow him. And then if the LDB follow him, you can follow whoever in the hell. That's fine. You know, who Wilder actually likes, apart from those idiots that boost his ego, tell him they're the best. I don't know. Ronnie, counterpunch to you. I'm glad you made it, man. He put himself at rock bottom because people are gonna remember that shit. People going because Tyson Fury said he said, "Well, hey, he didn't say he didn't even respect. I don't respect you." Look, after having a fight like that, it just shows who you really are as a person, and then that's just Wilder's nature. But I've saw things in Wilder. It starts probably at a tree, pride, arrogance. You know, Wilder really wanted his belt back. Yeah, he did. But guess what? It wasn't meant to have his belt back. Not that belt. He had it for a long enough time anyhow. Should he retire? No, he shouldn't retire. Yeah, he has a lot of hate in his heart. He needs to really pray about that because that type of stuff, you know, just to dislike a person, you know. I'm just waiting for the excuses. That's all I'm waiting for so I can counter them. Yeah, Wilder is strong, but it's just like, hey, to be calm, that means you're at peace. Not to be calm, meaning you won't confront. That peace means, hey, I made peace with it. He said, I'm peaceful. Obviously, he's not peaceful. Oh, I'm peaceful. I'm calm. Well, you might appear calm, but you're not. And doing what he did to Tyson Fury, that lets me know automatically that he's not at peace. He's not at all. All his hate comes made up accusations from the LDBC. I don't know what came first, the chicken or the egg. I don't really care. I don't really care. You know what I mean? Charles Stevens, pride go before a fall. That's it. It cometh before the fall. Yes, it does. If you're too you're proud. Oh, he cheated me. Oh, he did this. Fuck the referee. Fuck my trainer too. It ain't me. I still was strong. You can't stop me. You still couldn't stop. Like you, everything that talks about you or refers to you, it has nothing to do with responsibility. Nothing. And until he learns that, that's all about pride. And guess what? The fall came. And then another fall came. You know what I mean? Big MAF, big math kind of punch to you. Kurt, if he didn't fight with so much hate, he may have conserved energy. Well, Lee Sewell, for one thing though, Wilder was too big anyway. All that extra weight, nah. He couldn't even move. You could see he looked slower. He did nothing for his form. His form of punches were the same. Fucking chop with punch. I'm like, is that a fucking, what is that, a jab? Looks like a jab that you're trying to flick, but you're hooking it in. So I guess it's a hook. But I mean, it like, I don't know. I thought that Malik Scott was really going to help him be a finisher because see, even when he hurt Tyson Fury, that's supposed to be times when he went back to the body. Wilder could have went back to the body, but he didn't. When everybody was headhunting. No, go to that body. Instead of throwing that straight right upstairs, hit that straight right to the body. Connor Boner, counterpunch to you. Think Wilder deserves respect this time, though, Kurt. I mean, he shows respect. He had heart. I mean, how much fucking respect are you going to give him? He had heart. He showed grit. He went out on his shield. You know, he got a couple knockdowns. He fought like the Dickens. He fought as good as he could fight. Okay, well, shit, he got beat again. And it was a spectacular fight. What else could you give him? Because at the end of the day, he's just a bitter asshole at the end of the day. He just wants to be an ass. So, hey, let him be an ass. But that ain't going to help anything. Him having that type of attitude, but that's in his nature. If he's that way, you can't tell anybody else who to be. But that ain't going to stop you from knowing who that person is. I bet he did skip leg day. I ain't never see him do no damn squats or anything to that nature. Lunges and none of that shit. So he's just trying to be a big, buff, tall, upper body, broad shoulder, prison style built motherfucker. You know what I mean? Curtis Wilder, the biggest puncher in your opinion? No, he's not. I mean, you look, you think about it. He's not the biggest puncher. Is he a big puncher? Yeah. Is he the biggest? No, I don't think so. Why? Because he can hit you and knock you down like he did Ortiz. But I mean, he caught Ortiz in the first fight. It took him 10 rounds to get Ortiz's old ass out of there. And he hit Ortiz with a lot of straight rights. Mm-hmm. So, no. Yeah, I seen some of that shit, Arnold. That motherfucker was, oh, whoa, oh, wow. Oh, Wilder's down. Oh, Wilder's down. I was laughing and I had to stop laughing because my head was hurting last night. This is right before I went to sleep. That shit was funny, man. Oh, man, it's crazy. Lee Harding, that would be shitty, but that is something like Tyson Fury would do. Tyson Fury would probably say, fuck you, good night. Come on, Paris, let's have another me baby. Oh, Kevin Lopez, what's up, brother? Kurt, counterpunch to you, brother. Last night was a night to remember. I think the fight that makes sense right now the most is AJ versus Wilder. Forget the Usyk rematch for now. This is Wilder's chance. Well, Wilder could take on Joshua. That would be a great fight. And whoever loses that fight will lose. We'll go down a few notches from being number 3. It ain't too much room up there for too many people. It's only 3. Now you can have a top 5, but if Wilder then fought Joshua would have to win that fight. It's the shift. Like Wilder should have won to stay on top, but he lost. So then if he fights Joshua has to win, because then if Joshua gets beat again, that's 3 different fighters. Ruiz, Usyk, Wilder, right? Wilder will be remembered as a fighter who couldn't overcome his delusional ego. Fury destroyed him physically and mentally ever since the first fight. Fifi, counterpunch to you with that £4.99 super chat. We got another £2 from Random TV. Appreciate you. Much love. Counterpunch to you. Did it bother anyone as much as me that Lewis kept on saying belly instead of body in the commentary? Hell, he got a belly. Tyson ain't got no stomach or a body. He has a belly. That's what he was talking about. Oh, like his belly. Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about, Andre. It's his belly, man. He doesn't have a body. It's his belly. Your coverage last night was outstanding, Kurt. You made my blood pressure go up. Shit, mine was probably up. That was probably my problem. I was like, damn, my head hurts. And then I think probably my blood pressure was up. I was amped, dude. Yo, that stream was almost at, I don't know where it's at now, but it's nearly 100,000 views. So, we had a lot of traffic go through that live stream last night. A lot of people, a lot of love, a lot of support, a lot of hundreds of comments. Would it help? Why would AJ fight Wilder when he has an opportunity to make history? Well, Malcolm Marcel, Joshua ain't fighting Wilder. That is not going to happen. You can forget about it. He's not fighting Wilder for nothing. The only way he would fight Wilder is Joshua loses to Usyk. That would be the only way. And see, there's no room now. There's no room for like second and third best and shit no more. It never really has in boxing. If you lose your and miss your certain opportunities, you don't have every obstacle or every option for an opportunity. Okay, you can't, like Wilder can't then just say, hey, all right, well, let me fight Wilder now. It don't work that way. He still has to fight. See, let's say Wilder goes and knocks out Andy Ruiz or somebody. Then Andy Ruiz is fucked. So he'll never get that JJ money anyway. So that's why a lot of fighters don't want to fight other fighters. Andy Ruiz was probably, I don't know, man. He's done some silly shit. So, but then you still have Joseph Parker, Otto Eileen. If Otto Eileen beats Dillian White, that'll be some funny shit. And then Tyson Fury will be left with nobody to fight. I'm going to retire. I'm going to get high. I'm going to get drunk. I'm tired of this sport. There's nobody to fight. Everybody is a pack of bums. They always get beat. That's not my fault to get beat. You can't put that on me. I'm going to have a bar. I'll be at the me pub. Pub Gypsies. He'll make a pub called Pub Gypsies. All the travelers go and get twist faced every night. Throw Frank Sanchez. Well, Frank needs to fight someone. Look. Efia Jagba is he's a contender. Now he needs to fight somebody that was either an ex-champion or something like that. Okay. It's a hard road in the school of hard knocks. White is strong. Fury ain't putting him on his back. Look, that fight's going to be different. That's going to be a totally different fight. And whatever happens, I won't be surprised because it's the heavyweight division. See, Dillian White could hit. See, if Dillian White hits Tyson Fury, Dillian ain't a guy that can't finish. He throws good combination. Now, he's off balance too at times. Don't get it twisted. But he's a better combination fighter. You see how he did fucking Lucas? Bow! He came down. Bow! You know what I mean? And I was like, damn, he fucked Lucas Brown up. Mr. J coming in with them 5 pounds. Appreciate you, brother. Random TV coming in. Counterpunch Boxing TV. Love your content straight from the UK. Counterpunch to you all day. Bars. Boxing King Maz. LWC have made Wilder look like a clown. Well, I mean, they did all that damn content, but they did that shit for the money. It wasn't nothing to do, people. Come on, this was last year. This was a pandemic. People just had to make up something to believe in. People wasn't going on anywhere, wasn't doing shit, couldn't travel nowhere. People were in their homes. You think about it. So what can you do? Shit, you start to get kind of stupid at times. You start making shit up, especially right. Wilder got beat right before COVID got gripped America. And everything got shut down. So, I mean, people didn't do, they didn't get interviews with Shelly Finkel nor JD's. They got interviews with lower end people like Nicholas Ashbury and shit like that. People that didn't really matter, but it could support what they were already, claiming or whatnot. So there you go. So, dude, they needed something to talk about. I mean, without that, because see, with Wilder, man, Wilder can't leave. They need Wilder to keep they need him to keep on fighting. They're going to lose content. They're going to lose money. Imagine Blue Blood without Wilder, man, that's sad. And then Wilder is an exciting guy. I mean, people listen to him because it's either people support him or they like to hate him. Either way, people watch him. Sending big love from the UK. Love your videos, my man. Dave P. Counterpunch to you. Appreciate you, man. I appreciate your support. Appreciate your support, Dave P. Wilder retire? No. Are all the Wilder channels radio silent? Haven't seen anything new from him. Dude, The Martian, 9400. They had 9,400 excuses. Now they have none until they make some up. That's what I'm saying. That shit hurt because what's supposed to happen, Wilder was supposed to beat Fury, but that shit didn't happen. The best man won. The best man won last time. There was no conspiracy about that shit. It just had to be created. You had to justify that mauling that Wilder took. You know. But yeah, man, that was a hell of a fight. And I'm like, dude, I had to make like 3 hours of sleep. You know what I mean? And I was like, dude, so today I'm gonna chill. I got a couple more videos to do, but after that, man, I'm gonna lay down, probably watch the fight again. You know, it was a spectacular fight. It's a fight that you want to see because I didn't see it hear it with comment with audio. So, you know, I just heard it, you know, because we covered it. But I want to see it again, take a look at it, you know, and I advise you guys to watch it too. I thank you guys for coming over again. Check out some more videos because I have them coming out. It was cool bringing Spencer on. Thank you guys for being there for the Spencer Fearon interview exclusive. Random TV. Who want to see first AJ versus Tyson or Wilder AJ or Furies? I want to see all those fights. Every damn one of them. But I would rather see Fury Usyk though. Two undefeated fighters go right back at it. You missed out commentary. Good. The true blue blood would be done in Fanon. I don't know. I'll take a look at it maybe tomorrow or something like that. I got a lot of Terrence Crawford, Sean Porter stuff to do. That's the next big super fight that's coming out. You know, the best pound for pound fighter in the world or one of the best, taking on one of the top welterweights in the division. So that should be hot. You know what I mean? So, yeah, man. You see, I'm really bad. I'm disappointed in the Wilder though because like you want to think like this is a good dude, but like doing shit like he did, man, I don't respect you. It makes you just think, dude, like what kind of fucking guy are you really? You know what I mean? Like you fought this motherfucker, you felt his punches, so now you can't say he can't punch. That should have the moment when Tyson Fury whacked his ass. I mean, whacked him. That should have been the moment when, damn, and he went down to the ground, right? That wasn't no fucking slip, no fall. He got punched to the ground. What was it, round 9? When Wilder started throwing these sloppy ass punches with his fucking hands down and Fury, and his ass fell like a damn sack of potatoes. That wasn't from no fall. And then he gonna say some shit like that after, I don't respect you. Like, no, man, that's bad, you know, because he could have so decided, you know, but look, again, that's him. If he decided like fuck Fury. You know what I mean? But what he's doing though, he's allowing other people, you know, with already bad spirits and you know and bad personalities and whatever, to think that way too. So you got a society of people that think it's cool to be an ass. That's what we're looking at. That was my disappointing thing about Wilder. You guys tell me in the chat what you guys think about it. I'm about to lay back, put my feet up, probably cook a burger or something, and just chill for the rest of the day. Take me a definite serious nap. Again, glad you guys came over. Stay tuned for the rest of the videos. I'm about to get out of here. Everybody on the chat, you've been counterpunched. Peace.